I saw this on X. Stephen Mark Ryan, we need you here. Well, reporting for duty. Looks like Ross Gerber is continuing his Elon Bad tour, so let's see what Ross has to say. Quote from this video, "It's a business lesson of an amazing company being brought down by its CEO.
The original story that I think most investors bought into with Tesla didn't really include Elon and Twitter. And I think for a long time, we all hoped that it really wouldn't affect Tesla and the demand for its products. But we all know that that has now happened. I'm
sorry, I got to stop already. What? We all know that has happened. So Ross has made a pretty strong statement here, implying that since Elon bought X and or is sharing opinions on X, it's negatively affecting Tesla sales. Is this what he's suggesting? It seems that way. Now, look, in Ross's defense, he does live in a very small bubble in California. I suspect that essentially all of his close personal friends and colleagues think the same things, vote the same way. That's probably typical of many people watching. The difference, however, hopefully, is that many people watching realize that the bubble in which they exist, the echo chamber in which they hear their own voice and others reverberating, does not represent the world far from it. If you're a regular viewer, you'll have seen recently I covered a video, some research regarding politics and Elon Musk and electric vehicles. And funnily enough, it seems quite evident from the data that many people who previously would not have even considered an electric vehicle because EVs are bad and or they're a scam and or climate change doesn't exist and so on, are now buying them because Elon Musk's an absolute fucking legend, has a pair of balls and uses them, unlike many folks whose names I shan't mention. So it's true, in Ross's little bubble, there's a lot of people, oh my God, Elon, stop having opinions. Elon, there's nothing wrong with cutting off children's genitals. Elon, calling out organizations that hate white people. Stop doing that. Stop it. There's people who go, damn, that motherfucker's got some balls. Why is it nobody else has the courage to say what we're all thinking? I mean, it's quite interesting. Elon does stick his neck out, willingly sharing his opinions and wading into hot topics because they matter to him. It's kind of strange to me that so many other people out there who literally have fuck you money are unwilling to say fuck you. And I find it really bizarre that Ross is implying that, like, does Ross not understand that outside of his bubble, there's another side to the story? I can understand if most of your friends, family and colleagues, oh, Elon bad, oh my God, Elon, stop having an opinion. I can understand that you might have a perception, well, that's what's happening locally in my little echo chamber, but surely Ross has enough cognitive ability to think, hang on, I do live in a bubble. I mean, if we look at other parts of even just the country in which I live, people think very differently, vote very differently, believe very different things. Is it possible that I'm assuming that everyone in the world thinks the same way that I do? And again, the number of people now that I'm seeing who have massive respect for Elon and are buying Tesla specifically because he's calling out this woke insanity has got to at least be equal to the extremely loud number of virtue signaling folks, especially from a California bubble, saying, Elon bad. One of the great examples of this would be UFC fighters. You know, the kind of people who literally try to kill people for a living. You find approximately 0 people fighting in the UFC voting Democrat. And I think that's a pretty accurate statement. Many of these folks love Elon, love Teslas, and can't stop flaunting them. Even if many of these folks also don't give a shit about the climate or the environment. So they're making purchasing decisions driven by the fact that they massively respect Elon and his balls. Does Ross not know this? I'm kind of confused.
The demand for Tesla products is obviously lower, and they've had to discount and do many things to hurt margins and returns and ultimately, profits for Tesla. So, you've got that problem, which is where's the bottom when they don't.
I'm just going to rewind again because I just want to make sure I heard what Ross said. It's only 30 seconds of rewinding, but it really sounds like Ross is suggesting that Elon, having acquired X and or sharing his opinions on X, I'm not exactly sure which, has directly resulted in Tesla having to lower prices to sell through vehicles, as opposed to record high interest rates, cyclical nature of the automotive industry. I mean, is Elon having opinions also the reason that Lucid can't sell their vehicles, that Rivian are going to be flat this year? The GM and Ford have literally slowed down and lowered their production targets and EV volume plans? I just don't even.
The original story that I think most investors bought into with Tesla didn't really include Elon and Twitter. And I think for a long time, we all hoped that it really wouldn't affect Tesla and the demand for its products. But we all know that that has now happened. And the demand for Tesla products is obviously lower. And they've had to discount and do many things to hurt margins and returns and ultimately, profits for Tesla.
He did say that. That's exactly what he's said. Elon buying, quote, Twitter Now X has adversely affected demand for Tesla products, and therefore Tesla's had to cut prices and margins are suffering because Elon bought. Oh shit! I'm just going to move on.
So, you've got that problem, which is where's the bottom when they don't advertise and they don't do anything to create demand, but the CEO of the company every day goes out and hurts demand through his actions, literally every day. Yesterday it was Don Lemon and Mr. Free Speech, but I don't like the guy who interviewed me, so he's fired. That's not free speech. So I think
I got to call it. The brain damage is real with this one. I mean, goddamn, dude, this guy, he says some seriously dumb shit. So just for the record, regarding Don Lemon, Ross has insinuated, for those who don't know, Musk suggested that Don Lemon, some NPC from the fake news previously of the Crisis News Network, who then got fired for whatever reason, bring his show to X much like Tucker Carlson had, trying to have some voices on the left and the right, Global Town Square. Don asked to do an interview with Elon, I think for the very first episode of his show, and he was an absolute fuckwit, just a total asshat in the interview. And apparently it's come to light that he also made unreasonable demands wanting equity in X, a free Cybertruck, millions of dollars up front, and a guaranteed amount of... And during the interview, he was such an asshat, and Musk realised that despite the fact that he was now given the opportunity to produce content, an independent show, free of centralised corporate media, it wasn't really the true Don Lemon showing up. Still had his puppet masters. And so, as a result of that, Musk terminated what was going to be an arrangement, a partnership comparable to the partnership with Tucker Carlson. This is a great strategy from Musk in terms of partnering with people on the left and the right to produce content on X because it brings viewers to the platform to help grow video. However, Don is still free to post his show on X. There's just no partnership. For Ross to insinuate that this has something to do with free speech and the free speech of Don being stifled, it is nonsensical. He was a dickhead. Elon invited him over for dinner. Don took a shit on the dinner table and Elon said, you know what, I'm not going to invite you back. But hey, you're welcome to go shit on other people's tables if you want. I won't stop you. I mean, consider this, right? Musk is a very busy guy. He did a huge favor to Don. Okay, Musk is the interview that anyone on Earth wants to get. The number one guy that you want to speak to is Elon Musk. It's huge for whatever your platform is. I mean, case in point, look at YouTube channels that manage to get an interview with Elon Musk. They'll do millions of views on that video, and that can single-handedly create a massive audience for a channel. Elon does a huge favor, goes out of his way to help Don, and Don, in response, is an absolute fucking asshat. So Musk says, you know what? This guy's being a dick. I've done him a huge favor, yet he's being a dick. He's not going to be independent of thought and mind. He's still controlled by the puppet masters based on the way he's showing up, the kind of questions / interrogation that's happening here. Not going to partner with this guy based on principle. But he's still free to post his show on X. And apparently, again, Ross insinuating, first of all, that Elon having opinions is crushing Tesla's demand. And now trying to paint Musk as a hypocrite because he doesn't tolerate bullshit from dickheads. Okay, if Musk, after this interview, had banned Don from X, different story. But he's free to post his content. There's just no formal partnership. I really feel like Ross is 100% emotion here and 0% logic. Just gone full Elon bad. I'm sure it'll make some more valid points later, but we're not even a minute in, and holy shit, what a doozy.
I think, investors have had enough, and we see the fallacy in this business model now where the king of advertising the brand is now the devil advertising the brand, basically.
So Ross, I mean, this is tough, and I know you're someone who, I mean, this is a company that you like, that you follow.
I love the company.
Exactly. So how hard is it then to try and value this company that started off as a car company, then is considered more of a software company, and then you bring in some of the personality of the CEO as well coming into the mix? How do you end up valuing accurately Tesla?
Yeah. This is the perfect opportunity for Ross to have put his emotions aside and just talk about numbers, right? He can talk about their unassailable lead, their technology, their profit margins, industry leading, their scale, the data for autonomy, their software capability, the engineering talent, the culture, the leadership, or maybe not the leadership. Ross was probably still mad about that. The first mover advantage, the vertical integration, the insanely supportive fan base, incredible, compelling products, the fact that other companies are coming crawling on their hands and knees begging Tesla for access to the supercharged network, the fact that we're between two growth waves, but clearly Tesla's going to be scaling massively throughout this decade and beyond, the next-gen vehicle around the corner, the Cybertruck, a rolling billboard. Here's your opportunity, Ross, to partially redeem yourself.
Well, the way we've always valued Tesla is a tech company. First of all, in its heyday, it traded 100 times forward earnings in the end of 21 when things were, as good as they could be for Tesla. And So part of it is a valuation coming back down to earth, and when you align it with forward multiples for Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Apple, the Mag 7, let's say, 35 to 40 times forward earnings makes a lot of sense. So if you're
Now, I can see what Ross is saying here, although I do disagree with the idea that Tesla should have a comparable multiple to these large, mature, fairly slow-growing companies. Now, it's true that over the next 12 or so months, on paper, Tesla's not going to look like it's growing much faster than these companies, but it's sitting on top of a rocket ship known as electric vehicles that in and of itself is a trillion-dollar opportunity, plus a multi-trillion-dollar energy opportunity, plus a deca-trillion-dollar autonomy opportunity, plus I'm not even going to say how big, but significantly larger intelligent humanoid robot opportunity. I don't see companies like Apple, Google, these kind of the Magnificent Seven, Nvidia, having the same potential for massive growth year over year for the next decade, 2 or 3. So if that's true, maybe it's not, but if that's true, I would expect a much higher multiple on Tesla. By the way, shout out to my Tesla valuation model, which funnily enough, just so happens to have a much higher multiple. You want to access that? Join Patreon at Investor Level and above. Link in the pinned comment. If, for example, Tesla's humanoid robot is a complete and utter failure and never really gets off the ground, I would expect in that situation, given what's going to happen with autonomy, Tesla scaling up their vehicle fleet via vehicle production, etc. After all, there's around 2 billion vehicles to replace on roads today. I would expect that roughly a decade from now, maybe Tesla's got a multiple somewhere in that sort of mid-40 times range. However, if the humanoid robot is even marginally successful, a decade from now, Tesla could easily have a reasonable multiple that's well in excess of 50 or even 60. However, if you assume that Tesla's margins are going to remain static and they're only ever going to produce electric vehicles, and that electric vehicles are not going to be adopted as quickly as folks like Tony Seba believe, then I can understand a multiple comparable to some of the other, quote, Magnificent Seven. I just don't see that scenario actually playing out.
Looking at $3 for this year, that's how the Wells Fargo guy gets to 125. And so, 40 times earnings seems like a fair multiple for a company that isn't growing earnings, but has an incredible potential future. But, this could turn around very quickly if either like Tesla gets a real CEO who's actually going to help the company, or
I can't believe, bro, I don't even have the words. I will just say, given Musk's track record, what he has thus far accomplished in terms of leading companies, by the way, shout out to the Starship test flight 3 a couple of days ago, I think this is a little bit of a stretch from Ross to suggest that Musk is not a real CEO and I guess seemingly attempting to diminish his competence and ability to lead companies, specifically Tesla. I'm just kidding, remember? Elon bad.
Elon changes his tune and actually comes back to working at Tesla and promoting the brand in a positive way. So they've got great products. The Cybertruck is amazing, but it's just literally a business lesson of an amazing company being brought down by its CEO.
Guys, like a caricature, an embodiment of somebody living in an echo chamber. And there's that quote, great company being brought down by its CEO. Yep, that's right. Elon bad, Elon incompetent, Elon terrible leader. Oh, fuck, dude. I got to bite my tongue.
Yeah, but Ross, you said you value it as a tech company. I mean, what's the tech catalyst here? For months, we heard from so many Tesla bulls who said, look, this is an AI company, but there's not an AI product out there. When you think about autopilot.
Yeah. Bro, oh my God, dude. How to address this respectfully? Oh, wait, I don't give a shit. What an idiot. No AI product out there? What the fuck are the vehicles running FSD at the moment doing? Is that? Oh, that's not AI. That's Jesus Christ, dude. But hey, there is a point here. Many folks have a similar perception. E.g., Tesla, just a car company, doesn't have anything Toyota doesn't have. What AI? And I personally think they're missing a trick, aka an opportunity, and therefore still buying with every spare cent before people figure this out.
It's not at the level 5 that was claimed to be.
No, it's not an AI company, and Elon's made it clear he's not going to build AI at Tesla, which is...
Wow, Ross is on a roll today. Tesla, not an AI company. Also suggesting that Elon has made it clear that he's not going to build AI at Tesla. So what, are they going to just press the delete button on FSD? Oh boy. This is a doozy. We're not even 3 minutes in. Holy shit, dude. I kind of feel like it's 2000 and people are saying Amazon's just a book company. I can understand the Yahoo anchor. She's just a talking head. But Ross implying, it's literally claiming that Tesla's not an AI company. surely, what does he think that FSD is? Paging James Dowmer. How do we explain to this guy what AI is and what FSD is so that he understands that FSD is AI? It's incredible.
It's even more upsetting to me, especially because Tesla could have owned OpenAI in hindsight. And boy, that's worth now $100 billion. So, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but Tesla's technologies, battery technology and scaling advanced battery technology, 4 megapacks, for example, for utilities, the technology behind the Tesla manufacturing process, as well as the battery production process, not to mention full self-driving, which is still an impressive piece of technology, but
definitely not AI, as Ross just said, because it's not AI. Oh my God.
But what they've done is they've been able to scale EVs like no other company's been able to do in the world. And so we now see for sure the moat that Tesla's built is pretty deep, being able to make 2 million cars and nobody's even close. So I think, it's not a car company, that's for sure. I mean, can you call a Cybertruck like a regular truck? It's not a truck company. So I think it's a tech company, but it still doesn't change the reality that companies trade based off the perception of its future earnings. And now that perception has changed to a much lower perception of future earnings. And that's why there's so much pressure on the stock. And once again, it could be reversed immediately if Tesla took actions to improve the brand and advertise its products.
And Ross, I have to ask you, because as we talk about the Cybertruck here, another one of these halo products gets more eyes than you're seeing, especially these early adopters very keen on it. But was it a misstep then to not focus on cheaper, newer Tesla vehicles versus sort of this price cut?
Oh, God. Spoiler alert. I can't believe this segment, dude. We know, at least 95% of people watching know that Tesla unveiled the modular manufacturing system for the next-gen vehicle about a year ago. They've recently said on the most recent earnings call that they've pretty much finalized the production systems. They couldn't start this thing any earlier because they didn't have battery supply. Tesla's been quite strategic with timing of their product launches and releases. I mean, you can't launch a product, and Tesla themselves have said this. If you don't have the batteries, what's the point? I mean, does she know that there's a next-gen vehicle around the corner? Like, does she know this, or I'm again confused? Tesla can't have produced this thing any sooner. They were battery constrained for quite a while. Like, what's the point? Remember the time, not that long ago, Tesla's like 9+ month wait times to get their vehicles? What do you think would have happened if they had a much more affordable vehicle in the market at that same time? There's no point because they're already selling through everything.
Up and down that people are seeing as well. What would have been perhaps the better strategy here?
Well, no, I don't have any issues with their strategy. And the car is very reasonably priced now with the discounts and the EV credits. So you can buy a Tesla for in the mid $30,000 range. And if you're smart, you can buy a used Tesla for way cheaper. And there's actually like very little or no depreciation in Tesla's actual car performance. So if you buy a 2 or 3 year old Tesla, it works just as good as a brand new Tesla. So, for investors or car buyers out there, there's an amazing opportunity to buy like a used Tesla at a very, very reasonable price and still get an EV tax credit. So I don't think they need to make a more affordable car right now because they're having trouble selling the cars they have, and they think it's price, but it's really marketing. And so the amount of misinformation about EVs out there is just at an all-time high because they continue to be more and more successful gaining market share against gas cars. And
wait a second. Did he just say that? I thought it was Elon buying X, Twitter, but didn't he just say that it's? I don't even have the words, bro.
So, the FUD and the misinformation just ramps up the more success Tesla has. So as a company, Tesla's amazingly successful, but for it to move to the next level, they're going to have to change their strategy.
Ross, what do you make of this threat, this flag that those like Elon Musk have raised about competition coming in from Chinese EVs? I mean, can Tesla continue to maintain its market share on a global scale, not just the U.S., but outside of the U.S. as well, with its current lineup, with the Chinese EV makers like BYD continuing to move in so aggressively?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a reality. I don't think China is going to be that aggressive in the United States for various reasons. But I think in the rest of the world, their pricing and their scale at BYD, for example, is incredible.
Something to agree on. Definitely a lot of compelling electric vehicles produced in China will be sold outside China. Not as many in the US, but he's got a point. As I've said in the past, the future of the automotive market by units sold per year, number one Tesla, Number 2 through 10, almost exclusively Chinese EV manufacturers. Doesn't leave much room, actually any room, for VW, Toyota. Pick your large legacy automotive manufacturer today.
And in China, because the government has supported EV producers, there's lots of choice and lots of inexpensive choices. So Tesla has to compete head on in China, even though it's a massive EV market. It's super competitive, and this is a challenge for them. Secondly, being an American company, that the perception of America has changed in China a little bit too, so that it's not as much of an advantage as it used to be. That said, Europe has had all kinds of issues with people terrorizing the plant there and shutting it down for several weeks, which will cost a ton of money. But I don't think there's any lack of demand for electric vehicles. The price of gas continues to be very high. Consumers can save thousands of dollars a year buying an EV. They're actually better cars, drive faster. There's absolutely no reason to buy a gas car. And that message has to just be, shared to consumers globally, and people will make that choice over the next decade. And I see mass adoption of EVs. Now, how much money is made during this is really what's the question.
So I have a question. Actually, I have lots of questions, but a few years from now, when Elon Musk continues to wade into controversial topics and share his opinions, but market perceptions around Tesla have become a lot more positive, and likely the company's valuation has also become a lot more positive. Will this talk about Elon Musk damaging Tesla being an impediment rather than an asset continue, or will it quietly disappear? And also, will Ross's comments that Tesla is not an AI company have aged well? Yikes. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment, see you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.